digital course that comes with a digital workbook and a couple of MP3 visualizations and meditations. But we're going to go through a component of it today, and hopefully you can have a few takeaways to take home with you today. So first and foremost, okay, about me. So I'm Noelle Banks. I finished the Masters of Music program in vocal performance at CCM in 1998, which seems like 1,000 years ago, which it kind of was. I did sing for a while, and then I sort of transitioned into professional life. Not that singing is not professional, but into office life. I started working in HR in 2005, and so it's been about 16 years. I've practiced in Ohio. I've lived and practiced in New York City and Los Angeles. I'm back in Ohio right now. I have a professional in human resources certificate, or a PHR, and I'm currently with a company in Los Angeles on the senior leadership team. Okay, enough about me. What is an integrated interview? Good question. First of all, I want to highlight an interview is an opportunity, not a hurdle. Let this sink in for a second. I know when I studied performance, people used to tell me an audition is a chance to show who you are. And the people who were the most successful that I went to school with are people who were excited about an audition, excited to, resilient after an audition didn't go the way they wanted. And I always thought of it as a hurdle. And once I started applying how I felt about auditions to how I felt about an interview, which was this, relaxed, conversational, and exploratory, I started to see a path through. I started to see that when I was auditioning, just because of the things that I learned about myself and life at that point, I sort of separated my mind and body. And I would go sing, and my mouth was moving and music was coming out, but my head was like across the street thinking, what are the interviewers thinking of me? Do they know I just learned this song? Am I going to get this or not? All the things that our little human, lizard brains are going through. It was separated. I felt really uncomfortable about that. And then I started talking to friends and colleagues about their interview experience. And they were hesitant to apply for jobs even because they were afraid to interview. And I started thinking, well, now I can compare my pretty chill feeling about interviewing for a job compared with, and also with the experience I had interviewing people in my HR role, compare that to how I felt in an audition. And so I can apply, I tried to pick apart sort of what I can apply from the interview in contrast to the audition panic. And that's where the integrated interview came into place. So you might be looking at these 3 bullet points here and seeing relaxed, conversational, and exploratory and thinking that is not an interview, but it can be. So an integrated interview starts by expressing who you are, what you want, and then understanding how that information translates into the role or company that you're interested in. So it's not a matter of fitting a square peg into a round hole. It's a matter of figuring out what you have to offer and what you want and what the company wants, and making that sort of connection and then being able to express that. Oh, so we're going to sneak peek. What I'd like to do now is go through the Find Your Superpower exercise that's part of the program. And this is a meditation. And if your camera isn't off, I'll invite you just to turn your camera off so you don't feel self-conscious, like people are watching you. And I'm going to ask you to just relax, find a comfortable place, and we're going to go through this meditation together. It's a little bit unique where you sort of go under and then you sort of float up. I'll ask you to write things down during the meditation and float back down. And then once we're finished here, I'll show you how to sort of apply that, what you learned about yourself during the meditation, to your interview. So if you have something to write with, that would be great. It can be electronic or a pencil and paper, whatever you prefer, and go ahead and get comfortable. And I'll give you a minute to settle in. Let's take a deep breath. Everyone feeling centered? Great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the meditation. Just relax, enjoy, and just let whatever comes, comes, and I'll see you at the other side.
Welcome to your Superpower Meditation. This meditation will allow you the space to visit yourself at your core. This is an important step in our path to integration. Now make sure you're in a comfortable position, either sitting up with your back straight or lying down with no distractions. Your journal and pen should be handy. Let's begin. Allow your eyes to close. Now let's begin with some deep belly breaths to ground yourself. Place one hand on your belly and another on your heart. Inhale through your nose and allow your belly to rise. Pause at the top, then exhale with a large sigh through your mouth. Take another pause at the bottom. Now let's do that again. Big inhale through your nose, allowing your belly to rise. Pause for a moment at the top. Exhale with a loud sigh through your mouth. Now allow your hands to rest on your lap or by your sides if you're lying down. In this relaxed state, allow your thoughts to travel back to your childhood home. Enter that home and walk towards your bedroom. Standing in the room, picture yourself as a child. What are you doing? Are you involved in an activity or project? What are you working on? What feeling do you feel when your child self is engaged in this activity? Take a moment to allow yourself to fully engage with your child self. Ask them, what activity can they do for hours and hours without interruption? After you've taken a moment with your child, allow yourself to gently open your eyes, still staying relaxed. Write down what you learned from your child self. Don't overthink, just jot down some words, feelings, symbols, or pictures that you received from watching yourself as a child. I'll give you some time. Okay, let's move on. Now gently close your eyes again, and we'll continue our journey. Allow yourself to float to yourself in high school or early college years. Picture yourself in a seat at a movie theater. The screen lights up on a movie of you at this age. Picture yourself at your happiest. Let this be easy for you. Don't judge the scene. Just allow yourself to observe from your seat in the theater. Allow the first thought that comes to mind to appear. What are you doing? What do you see? See yourself engaging in the activity or thought or moment. What is it that you were doing that made time stand still? Is this something you could engage in for hours on end? Now, without judgment or reason, allow yourself to feel the moment. What sensations do you have in your body? What emotion is the strongest? Are there any symbols or pictures that come into your mind when you engage with this moment where time stands still? After you've taken a moment with this movie, allow yourself to gently open your eyes, still staying relaxed. Write down what you learned from your young adult self. Don't overthink, just jot down some words, feelings, symbols, or pictures that you received from watching yourself as a young adult when time stood still. I'll give you some time. Now, gently close your eyes again, and let's continue our journey to present time. This will allow you to access something that you might not even know is there. Picture yourself as you are now, but picture yourself at a party or gathering. When someone asks you for advice, what is the subject? What topic comes up over and over again for you? This is a topic or function that people seem to struggle with, and you don't. When they ask you for help, the answers flow naturally from you. When you help with this kind of advice, how do you feel when you're explaining it? Do you feel energized or lighter? How does the other person react when you help them solve this problem? Allow yourself to identify this topic. Picture yourself engaging in a conversation about this topic at a party or gathering. Allow your mind to recognize this feeling and let it show you how it feels in your body. After you've taken a moment with this, allow yourself to gently open your eyes, still staying relaxed. Write down what you learned from your interaction with others at the party. Don't overthink, just jot down some words, feelings, symbols, or pictures that you received from watching yourself helping others with your ideas. I'll give you some time. Now gently close your eyes again to end our Superpower meditation. Allow yourself to float back to the room. Picture in your mind's eye the room you're in right now. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes and gently bring yourself back into your body. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Take some time to reflect and review your notes from this meditation. Then when you're ready, you can proceed with the Find Your Superpower exercise in this module. You've done amazing work today. I'll meet you in the next exercise.
Okay, welcome back. Sorry, I stopped the meditation for a second by clicking my mouse. Okay, let's just come back to the room. And now we have a chance to try out what we learned. I'm a little high energy, so I'm going to try to keep myself calm to not jar you out of your meditative flow. The next step of this process before we start to apply it is I'm going to give you about a minute to review your notes. And I'd like for you to list in a list form all of the things that you came up with during your meditation. There may be one, there may be 20. If you had symbols or pictures or feelings, just try to translate those into actual words. So I'll give you about a minute, just don't overthink it, just make a list of what you came up with. Okay, feeling pretty good. All right, now I'd like to walk you through. This is a process that it's the distillation process that we apply to all of the exercises and modules in this program. There are 5 total. And basically, all it is a way to sort of, my superpower involves cutting to the core of the matter. So this makes sense to me. I want it to make sense to you. So this is a process where we'll take all those thoughts, ideas, and themes, everything you wrote down, we'll group them together by themes that have common traits, and then hopefully we'll distill them down to one theme. So here's an example. Let's say I was in the meditation and I found that when I was, what makes me lose track of time, for instance, say it's folding laundry. It can be anything. Say when I was a child, what did I do and, lose track of time? I love to sort toys. And what about now in a party? People usually ask me for help in clearing clutter. So if these were mine that I came up with, this is 3, again, it can be 1, it can be 10. I would put these together. These all sort of relate to each other. And in this example, they sort of make me think of clearing out, making systems. If we think about clearing out and making systems, how do we distill that down to one theme? That's me being organized. So take a look over your list. And we're for the interest of time, we're going through this quickly, but you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to take your time after this workshop, but take a few minutes and see if you can sort of distill traits down, and let me know if you have any questions. We'll take about 1 more minute. If anyone has a question, feel free to just shout it out. Okay, so, and writing, just take a second. Hopefully you've written down your themes. Now we're going to do something that I really like. It's really empowering. It's kind of fun and kind of goofy. Okay, I want you to think about the themes and how they relate together. Think about what your themes have in common. If you look at them closely, you'll see maybe they're actually part of one giant theme. Think about how they work together to form one giant superpower. Then I want you to complete this sentence, and you can write it down. So I'll give you another minute for that. No, sorry, I'm talking to my dog. Some examples I've heard is my superpower is making the world stand still. My superpower is creative expression. My superpower is clearing the clutter. Now here's the fun, goofy part. We're all on mute, so it's not that goofy, but I want you to own your superpower. Even if you're not positive yet, even if it's just you're sort of thinking this is your superpower. So at the count of 3, I want you to all say your superpower out loud. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3.
Creative collaborator.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm going to trust you all said it on mute. Great. Great job.
Pop it in the chat too, maybe. Folks that didn't
that'd be
want,
great.
feel free to pop it in the chat.
I'm afraid to look in the chat. I was afraid I would stop something again. Let's see. Oh, no, I got it. Okay, now, do we have a volunteer? And before I ask for a volunteer, I'll let you know who would be ideal for this exercise. And yeah, probably who would be ideal for this exercise. For one, if you feel pretty good about your superpower, you just determined, even if you're just okay about it, but you're fairly clear. And if you, especially if you have an interview coming up or a very specific job that you want or company you want, because we're going to learn how to sort of apply your superpower to this job or company. So I guess, should we do the hand raise on Zoom? Do you think? Okay. If anyone would like to volunteer, please raise your hand on Zoom. I can't see it though.
I'll let you know.
Sure. And you can just go to the little emoji guy and raise your hand. You can just shout out too. Anyone want to just walk through, and I'm going to walk through with you how to sort of apply this to your job. Come on, you can do it. It'll be painless. Does anyone want to talk through their superpower? Anybody feeling pretty clear or pretty uncomfortable? I know it's a little vulnerable.
We have Sarah Foster. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks,
Go
Sarah.
girl. Go girl.
Thank you for breaking our painful silence.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad. Sarah, tell me, we're going to go through this exercise together, but I want to know, tell me what your superpower is and what sort of job, company, whatever that you'd like to try to apply that to.
Okay, so I should give a little background first. I am still a student. I'm about to graduate. Yay. And I'm also about to start applying for jobs. So my creative superpower, or my superpower, is creative problem solving. In terms of a position, I'm looking for a user interface, user experience design position, which is a lot of product design, app development, app design type of space, which I know can be confusing if you're not familiar. But I'm interested in a company called Whipsaw in Silicon Valley. I've interviewed with them in the past and I'm going to reach out to them soon. So I was really interested in coming to this meeting first and getting some inspiration before the interview.
Oh, that's so amazing. And I actually just left a tech startup that I was with for a while. So I have a little sense of what you're going to do. And not to spoil it, but I think creative collaborator is perfect for this type of job. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do, just real high level, is we're going to, in the program, we talk about guideposts. And as you go through the program, you'll establish about 4 guideposts. And what these are no matter how crazy you're feeling that day, no matter if you're late to your interview, terrified, whatever it is, just think of yourself as hiking. I don't hike, so I don't know, but I assume hikers, not only does a guidepost tell you where you are, and if you're just freaking out, all of a sudden you can say, oh, here's where I am, but it could potentially physically help pull you up. So that's what I think of as guideposts. We'll have 4 guideposts in the program, but one of them is your superpower. So if all else fails, you can think about who you are and what you have to offer. So let's start off with, do you mind telling us what your, oh, we already told us your superpower is. Say it out loud though. My superpower is.
My superpower is creative problem solving.
Now, let's get a little feeling here. Do you feel, when you say that, do you feel anything activated in your body and where?
when I really think about, when I said at that time, no, but when I really think about it and like think about what it means for me, I feel an excitement in my chest. It's almost like I'm about to go like downhill on a roller coaster feeling, or like it's a big hill and I'm in a van on an adventure in a different country. And
I
I
love
feel like it's exciting. That's definitely the feeling.
Okay, boom, snapshot that feeling. That is your superpower. That's where your superpower lives. All else fails, you've got that to hold on to. Perfect. Okay, now let's apply just the superpower guidepost to the needs of the job. Do you want to focus on the actual job that you want and how your superpower relates, or to the company and what the company is like the company culture?
That's a difficult question. I think both. I have an understanding of the design team since I've talked with them multiple times in the past, and it's definitely a great culture. It's a really inspiring culture, but also I think that the type of work I'd be doing aligns perfectly with my capstone. So I definitely like to highlight the job qualities too, and maybe talk through my work.
Amazing. Okay,
Is both a good answer?
Both is a great answer. If we had more time, we would go. I mean, I love it. I love how specific you are and how excited you are. And I like the word that you said, that the company is inspiring. Not many people would say that. They may say the company's fun, or the company's corporate, or the company's scary, or the company is serious, or it's a big deal. And I'm sure it's all those things, but it's also inspiring. And I think that's something important for you to hold on to in this exercise. So the third one is, how can you map the needs of the job to your superpower? So this is a time where you just sort of get to dialogue with me a little bit about your specific superpower and how it maps to, say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm kind of thinking the inspirational part of the company might be interesting. How could you, if I said, Sarah, what can you bring to, what's it called? Whipsaw?
Whipsaw, yeah.
Why you over everybody else? What can you possibly bring to Whipsaw that we haven't heard already? I mean, you know what the job is, you know it's designing, you know it's product. What can you bring? Let's dialogue a little bit about it.
Okay, the first word that comes to my mind is passion. The type of work they do is already my interest space and what I'm doing in my free time. The work aligns so well with like the type of work I love. So I think beyond my expertise, I can bring a drive and a motivation that will keep me going. And with that, I'm a quick learner and I already love it, so I can pick up quickly.
I mean,
these are hard questions on the spot. I did not prepare.
I'm so sorry. You were so brave for going. I really appreciate it. The more you can just sort of get comfortable with the unexpected, which these interviews, you know, they might be structured differently as your first, you know, job out of school. But for the most part, interviewers are really using behavioral based interview questions, the ones that everybody hate, which are open-ended, like, tell me about a time when, or what would you do in this case, as opposed to, how good are you at, you know, UI, whatever it's called, design. So, and it's scary. And when someone says something open-ended and you're like, how do I answer that? What are they going to think? What are they going to ask? What did I just say? Now you know that you have that burning sort of warm feeling in your chest. And the first thing that came out of your mouth when I asked you that was your passion and how much you love the work and how you do it on your own. Now, did you feel that sensation in your chest when you were answering my question?
Not really.
Okay.
I think it's so easy for me to have this dialogue with myself and like ask myself questions, which I think is part of my superpower. But when it comes to interviews, I'm definitely scared. And like even talking in front of you all, it makes it harder to stay connected with my answers and really like drive it from within and like have that true passion behind the words I'm saying. Even though it resides there, it doesn't always come out in conversation.
And you know, you know what that problem is that you're experiencing? Being a human. Being a human.
Oh.
Good, you're so human. Everybody feels that way. And do you know the second greatest fear, let's see, I can't remember what the first fear is. The second greatest fear of humans, I just learned, is loss. And loss isn't necessarily losing a person, losing a job. Those are all devastating and they're scary and we don't want them. But loss of your identity is an equal loss. And what makes you lose your identity? Screwing up in an interview or thinking you screwed up in an interview. What does that mean? If I screw up in an interview, I lose a chance to get this job. Nobody in my college will be proud of me. My family won't be proud of me. I won't be able to pay my rent. All of those things are born out of the fear of loss. But if we can separate that out and just say, hey, I'm Sarah. I am passionate. I do this stuff in my spare time. I specifically targeted you, your company, because of how inspiring you are. And I want to tell you why. I got to tell you, that's a guidepost right there. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, I really like that. And it's helpful to have you walk me through it for sure. I think being new makes me new to the industry, makes me nervous. But yeah, finding things that I can guideposts that I can hold true even when I get nervous it's great advice.
Absolutely. Good. I'm glad. Well, let's try one more question then. And let's see if this time you can really focus in on that inner feeling. Forget about everybody else who's listening today. Focus on that inner feeling, because if all else fails, you'll be like, okay, I feel mine but for example, sort of in my solar plexus. I'm sure you could equate that to chakras and all that stuff, and I would love to learn more about it. But for you, you're feeling a lot of power here in your chest, which is actually your heart center. So I'm not surprised that you have a passion for it. Anyway, let's try one more question that might throw you off guard. Sarah, listen, I'm going to pretend to be a jerk. Sarah, you're good at this job, I know, and you just got out of college, but I have 10 other people behind you that are gonna be just as good at this job. So why should I hire a college graduate over somebody with 2 years experience? They won't really be a jerk like that, but I'm pretending to be a jerk. Why should I hire? I mean, yeah, you're good at all this stuff, but why should I hire you over somebody with 2 years experience? I'll have to train you from the beginning.
I think the reason that you should hire me is because I have a growth mindset. I don't see not knowing how to do something as a barrier, and I can show you further in my work, but I love things that terrify me. I love pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, and I think that's where a lot of my passion comes from. So to loop it back into that, I think the fact that I don't know how to do it is almost more of an opportunity to learn and grow and really contribute value to your company.
I mean, like, yeah. How'd that feel? Were you able to tap into that feeling anymore?
Yeah, that one felt a lot better than the other one.
And that allows you to be a little vulnerable too, because, secret, people want you to be vulnerable and show yourself in an interview. And the scariest thing is exactly that, showing yourself. But if you don't, what's the point? That was wonderful. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you for your time.
Oh, you're so welcome. Just continue to build on that and you're going to be great. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. Okay, well, that concludes the superpower exercise. I want to thank you again, Sarah, for being so game. Do we want to do questions now? Okay.
Yeah, I think if anyone has questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. One thing that kind of came to my mind, maybe to kick things off, is aside from doing this exercise, what are some of your best tips for people who are preparing for an interview? Like, how much should they know about a company, and how do you prevent the interview blackout?
Let me put it this way. You cannot know too much about the company. And I know that you're probably interviewing, depending on what you're interviewing for, at what stage in your life, you're probably interviewing for a lot of companies. And a lot of companies now are asking for you to answer a couple questions, even when you apply. So, and that's on purpose. That's because they want to know that you've taken the time to research the company, research the role, you're able to express, what you have to bring to the table. you cannot over research. And there was a time in my life where I under researched, and when I would go to an interview, I thought, I don't really know how to answer this question because I don't know what the right answer is. Well, there isn't a right answer. It's a matter of understanding the job and understanding, again, how you can apply yourself to the job. So you need to, at the very least, go through the website. And something important is get a sense of like the feel of the company. Is it fun? Is it casual? Is it hardworking? Is it serious? You know, like a financial institution? I'm not saying you want to change who you are, but for instance, I worked at Soul Cycle. I don't know if you've heard of it, for like 4 years, and it was a super fun, fitness environment. My first interview was with a recruiter who had wet hair because she had just taken class and cut off shorts in the West Village. And we were drinking coffee, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't show up in a suit. And that was because I had looked through the Soul Cycle website. I'd understood their values. Oh, also go to their values. Every company now is advertising their values, statements, how we work. You can really get a sense of the company and what it's like. And having said that, if you go to a company and you don't like their values and statements, I mean, I would say don't waste your time because you're never going to feel comfortable there. I would say focus on the things that you identify with for the most part. Continue to look into opportunities, but you want to make sure, again, to bring what you have to offer to the workplace. So research is my short answer. Research. Preventing the blackout. The really good way of preventing the blackout, honestly, is what we just did with Sarah, which is practicing that feeling, because our muscles have memory. Our whole body, we have memory. And so if nothing else, Sarah's going to practice that feeling. She's going to think every day about her superpower and that center and where she feels most grounded. So when you do black out, you can grab onto that feeling, or the other 3 guideposts, which I can tell you now are related to the job itself, the company itself, and the culture, I think. Yeah. So between those 4, those are your guideposts, and just practice.
I love that. We have a question in the chat. It says, Amanda, do you want to go quick and then I'll get to the one in the chat? Go ahead.
Sure. More and more companies are requesting video submissions with the application. Do you have any tips for video submissions?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Definitely, obviously, making sure that your technology is up to speed. A lot of the video interviews are, well, they're all timed, and sometimes they're really quick. Sometimes you have like 5 seconds. They'll show you a question. You have 5 seconds to, figure out your response. And then you have maybe 30 seconds to answer. So keeping notes after you've done your research, like just a little tiny jotted down bullet point. Fun company. This job has to be organized, write down some bullet points on your little notes. When you get the question, you can refer to that quickly. And having that internalized, that what they're looking for, what you have to offer, will help you sort of get your point of view across quickly. And also, this is way easier said than done, but try not to be afraid to be vulnerable. So, if I were ever asked a question about math, and I have to answer that sometimes when I'm interviewing for HR jobs, I enjoy data and exploration of data, but when it comes to math, I'm not very good or something. That's okay. They want to know what you don't have to be good at everything, but they want to know what you think about yourself and what you're working on, your self-awareness. So anyway, again, research and bullet points. Thanks, Amanda.
Great. The question in the chat is, do you have any advice for someone applying for a job internally at their company that they are not fully qualified for?
That's a tough one. But the fact that you said not fully qualified for makes me think that there's an opportunity to get qualified for it. So depending on the size of the company, you probably have access to, if not a hiring manager, someone on the hiring team, or even better, a colleague that works on their team. you're going to have the advantage of already being a known commodity, and hopefully you're doing well in your current role. I would start a dialogue with the hiring manager or the hiring team. Say, listen, this is what I need. What do I need to get here? Putting in that legwork at first is going to help them know you're serious, and if you really follow through on what you need to do. If you're fully not qualified, if you're, you have a opera background and you want to be the CFO, obviously that's not going to happen yet until you sort of work your way up. But I would say start a dialogue and make sure that your work and your work reputation is continues to be diligent.
Awesome. Well, feel free if you have any lingering questions to pop them in the chat. While we still have people here, I'm going to go ahead. So Noelle is going to give away the full course to someone here. So I popped everyone's names into this fancy spinny wheel that I am going to share with y'all. And we're gonna have a little Price is Right moment. So I think everyone some people might have left at this point, but we'll just spin it again if they're not here. So spin.
No whammies, no whammies.
Oh my gosh. Arlene. Yay.
Yay.
That is
Hello.
the most fun thing I've ever done. Arlene, are you here?
Yes.
Oh, yay. All right. Well, we will make sure to connect after this so that we can get that to you.
Yeah.
Amanda, almost. I know, sad face.
Thank you.
Attend my next event because I'm now going to be doing this at every event that I ever host. So I enjoyed it that much. Oh, yes. Go, Noelle.
Let's see if I can share again. So if you didn't win, don't worry, because I have a special code for 50% off the program. It's UC50. It's the integratedinterview.com. It's $37 for the full price. So, UC50. So feel free to use that. And also some more opportunities to connect. So this is the website, integratedinterview.com. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. My email, you all please feel free. If you have any questions after this, just email me. It's hello@integratedinterview.com. Anything you want, anything you need, my UC peeps, I got you. But if you want to post your feelings about integratedinterview.com on social, tag Integrated Interview on either Instagram or LinkedIn, and I will send you the course for free.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Noelle. And thank you everyone for your participation. I loved the meditation. I could have just zoned out for another 20 minutes or so. So thank you guys so much for attending. This was recorded. So if you want to go back and, watch some of the tips and tricks, we'll be sending this out. But otherwise, thanks so much. Reach out if you need anything. Hope everyone has a great day.